DIY.
DIYs, do you feel like album rollouts are needed for every single album? There's been a lot of conversations about album rollouts. I think more so because of the Clip's successful rollout of Let God Sort 'Em Out. With all these conversations, Tyler says something that may make you feel like some rollouts may be overrated for certain projects. He explains his point of view in this interview that he had recently on Hot 97 with Ebro, Laura Styles, and Rosenberg. Listen to what he said, and we'll have some thoughts on it.
Once it's just done, it's out. Like, it felt good to do that, man. I felt 17 again for a second.
Isn't it crazy
bro?
that you've gone so far as like a big music star that it's like a big deal for you that you were able to just like do music and let it go?
Bro,
that's all you used to do. That was your whole life.
Like, dude, I announced this album, nigga, 42 hours before it came out.
Wow.
I was putting July 1st because niggas was like, don't be dumb. So I'm like, all right, I'll put
42 hours before, and it is the #1 album in the country on the Billboard charts as of the recording of this.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
That is power. That is influence over an audience.
It was photos that had nothing to do with the music. And then once we did the thing at Barclays with the statue, I was like, because I wasn't gonna say nothing.
The thing he's talking about at Barclays with the statue, I believe, is this art piece that he put that was in anticipation for what it could possibly be. And then we would obviously learn that this is for the album Don't Tap the Glass. He does present a really interesting point because, you know, when I came up earlier on in my music career, rollouts were the necessity. They were the thing. It really didn't even matter that you had amazing music if you didn't have a rollout. It's almost like having the greatest product in the world without any kind of plan on how to get it to the people that it needs to reach. But now there's a lot of flexibility, obviously, with the accessibility and the reach that we all have as independent artists. There's a lot of different ways to kind of go about your rollout plans. But here he's going to dig a little bit deeper into why he feels like this applies not just to him and the position that he's in, but also other artists who are a little bit hesitant about dropping their music.
And then Saturday, I was like, it's an album coming out on Monday morning. And just put it out. And it's like, man, we could do that.
I like the Monday drop,
nigga,
too.
we could do that. We could literally, to all you niggas out there that's making music or art, you could just put this shit out.
Huh.
You don't always have to have the big rollout and fucking, blood, sweat, and tears. I spent 30 years on this shit. Because what happens is niggas will design their own handcuffs and lock themselves up and throw a key away.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
It makes me wonder, too, if every type of album, when you think about the way that they are made, the time that maybe did go into it, or maybe the quick turnaround of the creativity of it, if every album deserves the same type of rollout, or if you could even pull from it the necessary content, right? Go on the necessary platforms and have the necessary conversations. I think one thing that should never be missed about this Clip's rollout is that they had a legitimate story to tell. And the story was deeper than just who's on this song, or why did you choose this particular style or this song, and what were you talking about? They had a real journey that delayed their process. They had label issues. They had issues with other artists that were possibly even doing some censorship of what they were talking about. There's a lot for them to kind of unwrap, and the project itself is the first one in 15, 16 years. You're going to have a lot to talk about with an audience that is familiar with you and a newer audience. I think for a project like Tyler's Don't Tap the Glass, he just gave you Chromacopia. He just went on his own rollout with that, which was a crazy rollout that, if you remember, we did a whole video breaking it down. It was a masterful one as well. For how fast and quickly he talks about this music came together, it makes so much sense why he said this was just me throwing ideas at the wall, seeing what stick, not overthinking it. And then, you know what, I'm just going to put it out there. And then as I put it out there, I'll get more ideas of how to kind of market this now that the public has their hands on it. So it's definitely something to give thought to, especially for those of you that baby your music. I've been there before.
And then that just turns into fear after a while. Then it takes 30 years for niggas to put something out. Then that's why we never got Detox. Niggas just being too precious with the shit. And granted, I have done that. I was precious with albums, but now I'm like, oh, sometimes this song's just good. It doesn't always have to be innovative and pushing the next thing. Sometimes you just want to wear a white motherfucking t-shirt, bro.
Love it. Gonna be a lot of those today.
Somebody's gonna have to tell
Look,
the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
sometimes the things that we are being perfectionists about as artists, as producers, are details the audience is really not going to care about. Trying to find the perfect snare is something that could take a producer, anywhere from 15 seconds to damn near 15, 20 minutes of searching for a particular sound, depending on how crazy you are about the details. For an artist, for me, especially now, as I'm a bit rusty and getting back into a normal flow of writing, I'm overanalyzing every single line, asking, is there more details that I can give? When at the end of the day, it should never be missed upon you as a creative that this is entertainment. This is a service that you're providing. And most people on the outside are not as nearly skilled as what you are at your craft. You're presenting them a meal. As my guy Mick Jenkins said, you're presenting them a meal as a chef, and you're saying, this is what I put together. Now, all the details of what it could be, according to what you may look at as art that you look up to, those things may or may not even matter. They probably don't matter to the consumer, and they're just happy to hear something new from you. That doesn't mean that you half-ass your process and throw anything out, but I do think that there's something to not overthinking yourself out of greatness or potential greatness.
You said earlier in this convo that you looked at yourself basically and was like, I'm on my own fucking nerves with this bullshit.
Bro, I'm gonna sit there and spend another 3 years on an album and do this and try to push. No, nigga, sometimes I just want to break beat a synth and to just say crazy shit. And man, the freedom I feel, man, just putting this shit out in the middle of tour. And just throwing it out. And then who knows, man, I might put another motherfucking album out next week.
Ooh.
I'm not.
New album?
I'm not.
New album
I'm
alert.
not. I'm not. But like, I'm looking at Currency and Alchemist. It's like these niggas just making music for love and just nutting with albums everywhere. And
Nutting with albums is insane. That's an insane statement there, Tyler. But that's what Alchemist has been doing. Alchemist has for sure been busting production for everybody. That was a crazy sound effect. I'm gonna just play the button.
I'm over here sitting here like I'm celibate for 2 years. We got to get the press right. We got to get this. I got to come with a kid. No, nigga.
Alchemist is a great example. He just keeps doing one sick project after another.
Keep shooting the club.
Hey, yo!
Freddie Gibbs, Erykah Badu, they just keep.
And I'm just sitting, niggas is sitting here, and then like next thing you know, and then that shit turn into, nigga, that shit, not for me perhaps, but for some people that shit will turn into pressure. Then like they keep dipping their toe and seeing what work, and then you won't get an album forever. And it's like, bro, I had to do this almost for my own spirit, just like put the shit out, start over, reset. Oh, y'all like that 2-year cycle? Fuck that. Cut the shit. I don't want no extra. No, fuck that.
Yeah, you got to be careful about that. He's definitely giving gems on that. You do not want to be a person that struggles with premature ejaculation.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
You see what I did there? You see what I did there? Premature ejaculation. A lot of artists suffer from it. It is a clinical, it's a real disease. It's a real issue. Stop laughing. Premature ejaculation, where, you know what I'm saying, you get a little bit nervous about putting your music out there because what if they don't accept it? What if they don't like your kids? Okay, I'm done with that analogy. Moving on, I think that one of the obvious things that people are going to sort of push back on this is what is found in this tweet that retweeted this clip that's been kind of going viral. This is from a Twitter user named Fleaghost. He said, this only applies, talking about the ability to just drop music whenever you want. He said, this only applies to artists with cult followings or artists that have a strong buzz at the moment. A rollout is used to create awareness. People usually don't give a F what you dropping if they don't care about you. With rollouts, you give people a chance to care. The thing that I disagree with is that rollouts or lack thereof rollouts, just like instant drops, are reserved for people who have cult followings. I think way too many artists wait for their career to start or wait to learn lessons about their career until they have an audience, and they never learn the lessons. They're waiting until they have an audience to see what kind of merchandise they should make, so they don't make any merchandise. And that's a problem because you're not well versed enough to know the possible things that can go wrong, that go beyond what an audience may or may not want from you. There are lessons that you can learn when it's just you because you start off as your first fan. Hello. There are lessons that you learn along this process that say, if I was a fan of this music, or if I was a fan of this artist, how would I feel about their frequency in dropping music? Now, it's part of the artist's responsibility to make sure that they stay in front of their audience. Like, marketing should not be seen as a chore. Marketing should be seen as, I get another opportunity to control the narrative and talk about the message of my music. Talk about the head space that I'm in right now, the way that I see the world. No matter how great of a rollout you think that you have, you cannot predict what's going to happen on day one of that release. You can't predict what's going to happen on day 10 or how much interest may be lost, even with that amazing rollout. You can't even rely upon people always to remember your special date, especially if you're still building up a rapport with people. I think the random drop is a dope thing to practice too as an artist, because you say to yourself, you know what? The real work honestly doesn't start until I drop this project. Because now that it's out, I have somewhere to lead them to. I have a call to action to lead people to. But I think so many folks are waiting for the perfect opportunity. Remind me of my homie that said, I ain't gonna get a tattoo until I get a sleeve. He never got a tattoo. With that said, somebody else had another interesting point. It said, man, I love Tyler so much. Do you see how fans these days complain about too much music, but artists are deeply jealous of people who can drop quality that consistently? Great point. Great point. Here's another one I think that dropped. Dropping music like he did recently with Don't Tap the Glass, which he told you, I don't need you out here thinking. I'm making think pieces. Just get on the floor and dance. He said those should come once a year, right? The instant drop. Concept albums, this is from someone named Some Music Talk. Concept albums should come out every 2 to 3 years. There is no one size fits all for every situation. If you have taken 3 years to put together an album and you've gone through so many things that have contributed to the final product, you got a lot to talk about. That's what a rollout is for. It's literally, how do I convey all of these stories in a way that people will be more interested in hearing the soundtrack of these stories? Like, it's literally what the rollout is for. But if you just put something together and you was like, man, I just threw this shit together, bro, I just wanted to kind of try something out, well, then throw it out there and then do your work after the music has already dropped. But no matter what process you take, don't forget that the real work starts on day one of the release. Someone else that is having a conversation about album rollouts is Joey Badass. And unfortunately, you never want to see this happen with any artist. He announced that his upcoming album, set to drop this week, has been delayed. He says the album has been signed, sealed, and delivered, but the label is holding up the release. He says they are also the reason his drops from the battle are only on YouTube. Talk about it, Joey.
Shit go bad is on Joey. And that's why it's fucking lonely at the top, for real. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just you. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, listen, man, my shit got pushed back because the label pushed my shit back. My album is signed, sealed, and delivered over a month ago. You know what I'm saying? Like, this ain't because of no sample clearances. This ain't because no features. This ain't because of no clashing with another artist on the date. Like, this is literally an exhibit A of the label getting in the artist's way. And I don't know if y'all noticed, but all year, I just been moving on road time. You know what I'm saying? So I'm signed to Columbia Records, but for the longest time, I just ain't been fucking with them. You know what I'm saying? Because all they do is get in my way. They really don't fucking contribute to nothing. Especially this year, like, I'm not sure if y'all noticed, but all of my releases has been on YouTube.
So all of the releases that he did for the battle, the back and forth, have been on YouTube. There's a lot of artists that have been doing social media exclusive posts for, and typically you can blame that on sample clearance issues, right? Or they're waiting on some other details and they're kind of just testing it out. But for these official releases, he said he went to YouTube with it because I assume that this is something that he still has access to that doesn't have to go through any distribution channels. Just think about this for a second. somebody like Joey Badass, who, you know, regardless of how you feel of who won what or did what on the battle, he's built up a huge buzz for himself, right? You could even say that this is sort of a non-traditional rollout for the project, right? Even if that wasn't the initial plan, it's still part of the press and the promo that is going into elevating in a conversation around his name. So with that said, imagine how insane it is to do all of this, to bring your name into the conversation, to have people debating, is he the new king of New York because of that type of work? And then as a label, you say, I don't think you're ready to put an album out. Now, those can be a bunch of different details why, and maybe we don't have access to that quite yet because it's only, you know, Joey telling his side of the story. But it's unfortunate, and I hope that makes artists who are not in these label situations really think for a second. I know that it's required of us to wear many different hats in order to succeed in this era of creativity as artists and producers. But fam, stop walking around like you signed when you're not signed. Like, stop holding on to handcuffs of being signed when you're not signed. Put your music out. Put that shit out because you need to learn from research so that you can develop.
And it's been that way because I ain't got time to wait on nobody, bro. Like, I'm way too fucking independent minded and self-sufficient to sit around and to wait for people who is like, you know, not getting in line with what the vision is. Like, I refuse to do it. I'm gonna find my own way. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna just fucking make it happen. It's what I've been doing since I was 17 years.
Man, that is unfortunate, and I hope he gets that squared away because it sounded like, based upon the music that we've been getting, that he's in a good space and he wants to definitely deliver what his fans have been looking forward to. DIYers, what are your thoughts on it? You know, do you think that there's only one form of rollout that should be done? Let me know your thoughts, though, DIYers. I really want to know.